Okie dokie. Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast episode 694. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy
What's up?
and Tony Korkanakis.
Yo.
Welcome, guys. Corey will be jumping on maybe during this. He's having some home ownership issues. Welcome to 694 of the Moviecast. We are live on Twitch right now, Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock. Please join us on Twitch for these great broadcasts. You can talk to us, converse with us, ask us questions. If you do miss the live broadcast, all of the content's over on YouTube. Subscribe. Be sure you're watching this. Subscribe. That helps us out. We appreciate it, guys. Let's kick off the episode, folks. What we've been watching? So as I mentioned the Okie Dokie in the beginning here, Fallout series for me, which I can talk about in a second. X-Men though, I gotta admit, like that X-Men episode 5 was that was a heavy episode. I mean, I don't know how we could talk about it without spoilers, to be honest with you. But I really enjoyed that episode. I loved it, and I'll try to keep it spoiler free as best I can here, folks. If you haven't seen the X-Men '97 series, you come on. What are you doing? What are you doing, guys? What are you doing? I mean, we're all caught up, right, guys? Us three at least.
Yeah.
For that one. Yeah.
That episode was very. I just could not. That's unbelievable. That episode, crazy what they pulled off. So, very impressive, and the artwork is amazing. It's so cool how this just like comes back stronger than it was the final season, if I remember right. That's last season was pretty bad because the animation was bad. They were trying to tell the stories, but they had bad animation. So
I mean, I would say it's.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would say it's actually succeeded the original series. I mean, don't get me wrong, the original series is good. As a kid, I enjoyed it immensely, but on a rewatch, I was like, oh, okay, like there's a lot of cracks here and stuff like that. So whatever, don't.
They grew it up for us too. Yeah, they grew it up.
Right, and that's a thing that I think was designed intentionally in this episode specifically, actually, according to the guy that was fired right before the premiere and stuff like that. But
Bo, yeah,
Bo. It's very hard for that original series to take itself too seriously in some aspects. Like, don't get me wrong, they had the heavy storylines and stuff like that, but like, you don't really see people or whatever like die, right? Or like permanent.
No,
I'm not gonna say permanent, like consequences, right? To a lot of things that happen is like,
well, I mean,
get shot with lasers. Like, well, you're just knocked out and whatnot. It's like
they did sort of start their first two-parter way out with Morph basically dying.
Yeah,
he came back by the end of like what, season 2?
No, that was a while later.
I thought it was the end of season 2 with Sinister, if I remember right.
Like he was.
That's a long time for a kids show.
Yeah.
After the whole first season and then near the end of another one.
Yeah,
I mean,
like he wasn't a character though. Like it's just like, oh, he's here, he dies, cool. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, that was sort of a unique thing for a kid show at the time. That like.
Sure, but it went through one ear and out the other. Like, who cared about Morph die? Like, nobody cared.
Wolverine.
No, I didn't. Wolverine did. Yeah. And you gotta give again. I saw an article.
Hold on. You expect these deaths to be permanent?
I expect one.
I didn't say permanent.
Deaths. There's only one.
I took back the permanent aspect, but we'll see.
I guess, but I expect them to last way shorter than Morphs.
Well,
no.
Okay,
I think
that's. I mean, there's only 3 episodes left in the season, 4 episodes, so. You're right. Probably it will be,
Well, see, I don't think one of them. I'm trying to not spoil.
Not
this
everything,
here,
right? But
one of the characters is not dead. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm sure of that. There's no way.
Stuff went down, I assume, in this latest X-Men episode.
Yeah, there's some character deaths. So, really awesome.
I'm not trying to spoil it. There's character.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has been talking about that, but that's the only issue I might take is because you expect some time travel nonsense to maybe make a lot of this not matter, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's the assumption. That's the lowest hanging fruit there, but I don't know. Just reading the interview with Bo again, like, it just seems like even if they do things where it's like, oh, some people might come back, right? Like, it doesn't sound like it's going to be undone, timey-wimey, like, oh, look, yeah, just forget all the shit that just happened and all that trauma you just process for a while. Like, it's all good, no worries.
Yeah. So I don't know. I enjoyed
But,
it, Mike.
Yeah, a lot of the characters got a good spotlight in this.
Yeah,
episode.
and that's what it was. I was trying to say, like, give them props because they have now showed five episodes where Wolverine was not even like
what
a player.
No,
Like, he wasn't even on the board.
no.
Deserve props for that. Okay.
I mean, listen, it's because it's very tough. Like, I'm going to give them credit for that because it's very tough to build a story without Wolverine because he's so popular, and they're doing great.
Yeah, I'm glad Gambit got a spotlight finally because he has just looked sad so far in the series.
Yeah, Rogue's got some great stuff going on. Magneto's got some great stuff. It's great.
Yeah, I know. No, it was good that we got a Gambit spotlight here a little bit because, he went away kind of when the series went away. He wasn't really popular outside of that space and time, so him coming back for this series, it was kind of like him coming back in general.
I don't know. I thought he ran the X-Men for a while. He started his own team, I thought, but I was trying to read a little bit. Yeah, I was trying to read a little bit about
in the
that.
Comics
but
or
yeah, in the comics.
Yeah, well,
a comic that probably no one read. Yeah.
So.
What is it, the Executioner?
Yeah, the Executioner saga. That was good.
Or yeah, something like that. Now he had an Age of Apocalypse run. See, the thing is, like with Gambit, when the show was taking place, early mid '90s, there wasn't that much Gambit material compared to like most of the other X-Men because he's a newer character and stuff like that. So they only touch upon a little bit of his history, and I presume with some of the villains this season, they will eventually dig into more of his history. But
hopefully
it was good. It was because he was always mostly a background character in some episodes because like I just need somebody that like. It's like if Wolverine's episode, he's going to be the wisecracking,
the buddy cop,
right?
The buddy cop.
But if he's not there and Gambit is, then Gambit just assumes that role where he's just going to say some witty one or two liner, and it's like whatever. And I did like that callback, right, where it's like his name, and he's like, remember that. I was like, oh okay, that's a nice throwback back to the series. But yeah, I mean, excellent.
First episode, I believe first episode, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where that line was stated. I thought it was in the first episode, but maybe I'm wrong. Cool. Yeah, I thought it was good. Mike, good, right? Excellent.
I'd say it's better than good.
No,
it's great.
No, I liked it. I'm a little worried about where they go from here based on some things that show up in the episode.
Yeah, we shall see. Corey, you didn't check it out. I take it.
The latest episode I got up to 4 episodes in.
Oh, so you haven't seen the shit episode. Okay. I think it's the beginning of this. So, all right. Cool. All right. So the other series that I have watched all the way through now was Fallout. And I will absolutely say to Amazon that I believe, and this I loved getting all the 8 episodes, don't get me wrong, but I believe they messed up and they should have released it weekly. This is kind of that show that you can chat about, you love kind of thing. It, first of all, is without a doubt right now my number 1 show of the year so far. Without a doubt. There's 0 doubt in my mind right now. Like, Shogun has been awesome, but this show is phenomenal. Like, I loved every episode
I'm curious,
of the show.
So you say they mishandled this, but like you've kind of like petered out on Shogun. You haven't really caught up on it.
No, I'm on.
And that's weekly.
I'm through 6.
So, like,
I'm through 6.
I'm saying if Shogun came out, because the way you were talking about Shogun, if it came out all at once, you'd blow through that, and then you'd be talking so hyped up about it and everything. And yeah,
not every show.
Waiting.
But not every show fits the weekly. Some they have to do a better
I'm
job.
Just saying, like, is there only
on.
8 episodes in Shogun or something, right?
There's 8 listed. There might be 10. Looking like I'm not sure, so I have to look that up.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know, like maybe, like who knows?
I don't know, but I mean, who else watched some Fallout? I mean, Tony, you watched some of it.
First episode,
right? Yeah, I guys the series.
Oh, you're good. Okay, I'm trying. I won't do any spoilers because you guys need to watch the show.
I watched the first 5 episodes.
Excellent. Yeah, I absolutely like loved the show to the point where like I want to kind of rewatch it again, and that's very rare. That's very rare for a show for me. Usually that's comedy based for me. Usually I never rewatch like these kind of shows, but it kind of is a comedy a little bit. It's got some. That's That's the best. That's they somehow, and this is why I wanted to talk about this on the episode. You can talk about this in the Gamecast. They made this video game into a show that felt like a video game. Best way to say it, right? I mean, and pulled it off. Like that's the amazing part of this, what they did. Like I've never seen that. Like Last of Us had its own thing, right? But Last of Us felt like a show. It wasn't like it was based on the game, but it was a show. You didn't get that whole like in this show, you feel like this person's leveling up. This you just like it felt like part of the game world. It was unbelievable what they did for this show, and I just absolutely loved every episode of this. Loved the story. Loved all of the characters. All of the characters. I don't think there was a single one that I can complain about really. So even the cameo, I thought it was funny to have the cameo there. But I thought this was great, a fantastic show, and I mean it's already on my list for number one right now. Let's see if something usurps it later. But I'm making my list already for of the years, and this is number one. Shogun number two, even though I haven't finished Shogun yet. But it's at 2 right now. So not a lot of shows. We're early on. We're in April, but
X-Men 97 doesn't even get a mention.
The X-Men 97 3 until we get the finale. Maybe it jumps up against Shogun. I don't know, but this is fantastic. I don't know. Tony, you watched the whole thing, right? I mean, what'd you think? Maybe I'm overselling this, but
no, I don't think you are. I think it's nice to have a conversation about it, but
sorry.
No,
That's all right. I'll have a little pushback for my turn.
I absolutely think it's an excellent adaptation. I don't want to compare it to anything else, really. It's too new and too fresh, because I think you got that recency bias and stuff like that. But absolutely, it surpassed all my expectations for the show. And I mean, I love Fallout. Kind of to the degree where something disappointing in Fallout, like I get upset. Like Fallout 4, like fuck that game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, watching the show, I'm like, I need to replay a Fallout, and I'm just like looking at Steam because they're all on sale. And
They knew.
I even got 70. No, absolutely 100%. This is intentional cross product marketing. It's perfect. Last month.
Oh, you just watched the show here. The game's on sale.
Yep, they got me with the Magic decks coming out, and then this with the games, and I'm like looking at it because the thing is, I only own the games on like Xbox 360 and PlayStation 4, so the backwards compatibility is not that great. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just fucking buy it on Steam, get all the mods, because people fucking mod those games to shit and back. But I'm looking, I'm like, oh, should I finally give 76 a chance? And I was like, not yet, right? Because I don't know how that's gonna go. Whereas if I start with New Vegas or 3, I'll have a good time. I know I will have a good time, right? 100%, I'll have a good time. But I looked at 4 and I was just like, no. You're not even in contention. You're lower than 76 for me at this point. I will never ever replay you. Fuck.
I thought about 4 honestly, but I actually never played New Vegas, and now I want to play. No,
you
New
should
Vegas.
Absolutely play.
I know.
New Vegas,
I know.
You should play it modded. Yeah. But going back to it, so the series did its job. It made me fall in love with the Fallout universe again, because it has been so long since a single player experience, and even that one again, 4 was just not my cup of tea. So it's like, damn, here we go. And the people working on the show did such a great job of all the nods, all the Easter eggs, and like you were saying, making it feel natural. It's not this is forced. It's look, there you go. It's there's some things where you're like, oh, I remember that, right? But it's just kind of in a shot, for a second or two. It's not they hover over and just everybody who hasn't played a Fall game goes, "What is that?" It's just
why are they lingering on this?
Blatantly product placement type of gadget things.
And I gotta give them real great grades for just the set, the sets, right? Because from the vaults to any of the towns and stuff like that, I'm like, this is incredible. At no point I'm like, this is just fake. I could see this I'll shit on Obi-Wan all day, right? At no point was there an Obi-Wan there. I'm like, you're just in a fucking California quarry. What are you fucking doing? You have a fucking insane Disney budget, so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, all the characters are great. And what I will say about the characters is I love how they're multidimensional, because there are some characters I'm like, fuck this guy or fuck this girl or whatever like that, and then they do something okay, I agree with you on that one, right? Okay, you're right. Maybe you're not totally bad, but then do something it's kind of a back and forth thing. It's not just oh, this is clearly good character and this is clearly bad character.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. But
Right,
we'll
these
let the
characters are
technical
actually human.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
or
so good. Such a
inhuman.
good blend.
Or yeah.
It's true. It's one of the best characters. Mike, so you not a big fan? What's going on?
No, no, no. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I mean, I love the look of it. Obviously, I love the use of practical effects and sets for sure, and definitely hit the vibes right. It's just the first 3 episodes, I was like, it's all right. I wasn't like itching to get into another one. The fourth changed things a little bit. I'm more into. There's a few storylines and characters you're following, and I really don't like Maximus and his face he always has, where he's like
I think that's the point
all
of
the
that
time.
character. I really
He's
do
just
like. Yeah.
but like he has one face and it's annoying. But anyway, um, and yeah, that whole story, his storyline, I like the power armor. I like seeing it, but this is not like the Brotherhood of Steel storyline that I was looking for per se. But it's fine. But I'm into the vault mystery. Obviously, I'm not that. I'm like early in that. So I guess at
Yeah.
episode 5. Like a big thing happened where it's just like, oh, something crazy is going on here. So I like the vault mystery, and obviously I like the other two characters are fun to follow too. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for some
The
some
Ghoul,
stuff to turn. The Ghoul
fantastic.
and what, Lucy is her name?
Lucy's great. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
she's the main. I think the main character,
basically the
but
main
it's
character. Yeah,
they each have their own great stories. I mean, Maximus
yes,
is probably the weakest. You're right, but
yeah.
the Ghoul's got a great story. So love his
But
character
yeah,
too. Love his
I,
character.
I I do like it, but yeah, I could take this once a week. It'd be fine. I would maybe prefer it that way but it's fine. I'm probably gonna. I think I'll finish it. I've been doing one a night pretty much this week, so we'll see. I'll
You'll probably do a 7-8 back to back, just so you know. Just plan on 7-8 back to back. So
okay. Also,
all
the
right.
first few episodes were so long compared to like these middle ones were like 45 minutes. The first two were like 1 hour 17 minutes. I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
god. Okay.
yeah, that's good content. So and like you said, the practical effects look great. So cool. All right, Corey, what have you been up to?
Well, I watched Fallout episode 1 as well.
Yeah.
As you guys, not didn't get too far, but I think they did a great job with the opening. I think it really grabs you. Like,
Yeah.
I like that you're starting before the um the end, as the episode's called.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yes.
and then yeah, I think they do a great job with the mystery because that's like you need that hook, right? The first episode's gotta do something to pull you in and get you on board, and then want to discover what's going on in this world with the characters. And that time jump is significant enough where you can believe these characters are, as oblivious to what's going on in the real outside world and stuff. And so yeah, I would say that the adaptation that they have here is absolutely one of the better adaptations from a video game. But the core material is so good. Like we've talked about in ages with this the GameCast, and like Tony was saying, like you can definitely mess this up very easily. And they did a great job of making this something that is believable. And if you have no knowledge of Fallout, it's something that you can follow without even really caring about it. But then it has all those Easter eggs for the fans of the show and for the fans of for the games, I should say.
It's
So
definitely
yeah,
better
no,
than
it's
I expected. I expected this to be a disaster, honestly.
yeah,
So
and I mean, look at what like you have Halo failed miserably,
yeah,
terribly, and you
Well,
have
how not to do things. How not to do things. Yeah.
right, and then like you have a show like Last of Us that writes itself. You don't really need to
Yep.
do much,
Yep.
Did
but then
fantastic job. Yeah.
yeah, and then but like you also have the fact that Last of Us has like these episodes that are outside of the game. So this what I appreciated about this was it's not an adaptation of an exact like the game. We're not following one of the games that we've had
It's its
before.
own
We're
thing.
following characters.
Yeah.
We're following different vaults, different people, and we're getting to see them in their world and not knowing what's going to happen is nice.
Yeah.
And
I
then I
agree.
watched X-Men '97, like the first 4 episodes of
Nice.
that. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And I will say, it makes me interested even more than I would be on what the next, Fallout 5 or where whatever the naming
especially
convention.
with what
It
he's
brings-
like, oh, don't do that storyline because we
Yeah.
have
Well,
plans
I mean,
for
it's
that.
funny because we talked about that with Todd Howard, how he's like,
Right.
the news is like, oh, they made sure to like correspond, so they Like it wasn't feeling like
didn't
one was
step on
gonna
each
eat-
other's
right,
toes
step
or
on each other's
whatever.
toes and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
um,
it's appreciated, because like I said, like it's an original story where you don't know what's gonna happen. Like, we knew Last of Us, we knew the ending of that.
yeah, yeah,
We know the end is just more about the journey and see how they
Yeah,
played
that
out.
was about the journey.
Here,
Yeah.
like we get to
This is a
experience
mystery.
something.
This
Yeah,
is a
and that's what
yeah.
Fallout does great though, right? Like the games, you start off and you're like, what is happening? Like, what are we doing? What are we trying to discover? And
Yeah.
they do that here too.
yeah. You're just as invested as the characters are. It's like,
Yeah.
Yes.
whoa, what's
yeah.
going on? Like, and it's like, yeah, and like things start getting weird, and you're like, what the fuck?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. There's some weird stuff in there. There was some
a
weird
lot
stuff
of
in there.
weird shit in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Oh,
Awesome.
I also
yeah.
watched Kong Cross Godzilla or whatever.
Okay.
It's called.
Oh,
Godzilla
nice.
versus Kong.
Yeah.
How was that?
So so basically my we were supposed to go. My boys and I were supposed to go to some theater thing at their school, but apparently the tickets had sold out super early, so we couldn't go. And I was like, well, since we can't go to that theater, let's go to this theater. Let's go watch Kong Cross Godzilla, and it is absolutely the big monster. It just goes like, how do we get from one fight to the next fight? That's the whole story. There is no story to this.
they drew up
It
fight
doesn't matter.
sequences and then like fill in the story.
And everything is like, oh, this just so happens to work out this way, and this character is obviously here just to prove a point for someone else. It's like, all right, well, yeah, these characters are basically meaningless. It's all about the monsters, which is fine. And for a 9-year-old, 8-year-old age group, that for boys and girls, I would say, but they love it. Like it's just monsters bashing each other and just like having a good time. Big CGI effects and stuff. So if you like big blockbuster fights and stuff like that, that's what you're getting. You're not getting any type of story / insight into what's going on here. Like, it's just monsters hitting each other.
If Godzilla -1 was like highbrow, this is definitely lowbrow.
Oh,
That's fine. Like
absolutely.
you gotta have both.
They,
That's
all
they
right.
fill both ends of the spectrum, and that's fine. Yeah, you get one, and then you get the other. So
Yep. And Monarch season 2 got picked up, right? That's official
Yeah.
too. So cool. All right, let's get into some news, guys. Let's discuss some fun stuff. We got some good stuff to talk about this week. We've got Keanu Reeves in the news, cast as Shadow in Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, it tracks. You know.
I think it's great thinking about just him crossing with Idris Elba and voicing characters. Those two guys. I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool to think about. Tony posted the perfect thing where they're just in Cyberpunk, it's really cool to see them cross again now in Sonic.
Yeah,
so
it is crazy because like this is coming just like 6 months after I played Cyberpunk and Phantom Liberty, and I was like, oh man, like Idris and Keanu, it's like that's a great combination and stuff like that. And it's like, who knew? And like I don't know if I particularly see him as Shadow. I haven't played Sonic in a long time, so it's like I don't really remember Shadow's voice too much.
Mm-hmm.
But if he makes it edgy, that's fine. And Shadow's got a gun, so John Wick Shadow, I guess. There's already memes and art and stuff like that out there. So,
he's also going to be in the Ballerina spin-off for John Wick.
Yes, he is.
Apparently.
Yes,
I think I posted that,
which is
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, which is awesome awesome to hear. It actually gets me excited for that more than I was. Not that I wouldn't check it out anyways, but it's exciting to hear that. No, but it's
wrapped filming too. Sonic 3 is wrapped filming, so it's coming. My boys are gonna be excited for it. That's for sure.
Didn't they say, "Hey, when's the third one coming out?" Like right after you guys saw the second one. It's like, you gotta wait a couple years, bud.
Yeah.
Well, the show, the Knuckles show, is this month, so.
That's what it was. I knew there was something. I was like, okay, but cool. That's Christmas this year, isn't it? Sometime December 20th. To Sonic, right? Sonic 3.
Oh, it's coming this year. Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic. Yeah. So, all right. What else we got in the news here, guys? Let's see. Whoops. Hang on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think to give credit where credit is due, I think finally Paramount was listening to the podcasts. Tony has for, 15 years talked about the low-hanging fruit of Transformers and the IP of G.I. Joe, and now it is officially happening. They are doing a crossover finally for these two properties that just makes the most sense to have a crossover. I get it, but Tony, you had mentioned it for It's got I don't know how long. It's
I
been,
just-
at least a decade. At least a
At
decade.
least, right? Because like,
Yeah.
and this is through the heyday of like the Transformers franchise, right? And like after the third one, it's like, why are we still doing these, right? And it's just like slowly die down. Meanwhile, Fast and Furious is like on an upward trend. I'm just like, why do you not just see this and do the same thing? It's like, hey, what if we took giant robots and threw in like special forces, fucking ninjas and like who wouldn't be excited about Storm Shadow like riding fucking,
Starscream.
right, or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like that would just be an instant easy moment to do and stuff like
It's
that.
such an yeah. I mean, they've teased it a little bit, like not teased it, but they've kind of sort of meant like teased it like for like the longest time. And like you said, this would be something awesome to do. And it's exciting because it's
I mean, it just again, we talk about writing itself. Like they've
Yeah.
done this before. It's not like it's
Yeah, they've
new
done it plenty
concept.
of times in the comics. I think at least 3 separate times in the comics.
Yeah.
well,
So
I
it's
feel
just-
like
yeah,
the movie verse wise, GI Joe has struggled clearly in the movie
yeah,
verse.
struggling.
Transformers has been up and down, always making money at least
Mhm.
that franchise. So.
Mhm.
I mean, does it pick up GI Joe, or is this like a mutual? Is this like to pick up GI Joe? I don't know, but it works. It does work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. All right. What else we've got here? We've got this is interesting. Live action, R-rated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie coming. The Last Ronin, obviously. That comic book series, the graphic novel series from Eastman, and I think Laird worked on it a little bit, but not really, because I think he just gives ideas. But producer Walter Hamada is involved, and it's going to be a live action film, rated R, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, you have to with this story, but it's crazy that they're thinking of adapting this to a movie, right? But
I guess.
This is not what I want from.
it's a great story. It's a great story. It's awesome, but I feel like we don't need a live action movie for this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is a great animated film. There's like what they just did with the Mutant Mayhem. This would be really cool to do The Last Ronin. Don't get me wrong, but live action, I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna pan out in this day and age.
I'm not sure.
To me, this is one of those things where like I'm trying to think of something else to compare it to off the top of my head, but I can't. But like, you know how like especially with comics or whatever like that, where there's a storyline that's just like infamous, right? Where it's just like, oh, this is like a cool part of whatever like property or franchise, and then everything else has to be like kind of centered around. So like I'll give like with the Avengers and Thanos and the Infinity Stone saga, right? Like it's like not only is the MCU about it, but then it's like, okay, well now the game like Marvel's Capcom was based around it. There was one of the fucking Marvel superheroes, like one of the first fighting games was about the gems and stuff like that. Right. Was one of the Ultimate Alliance games centered around
Ultimate Alliance 3 pretty
3
much.
was.
It was based. I was like, thought it was 3, but like, you know how like it just kind of becomes a little overdone after a while. You're just like, okay, cool. Like this is the 4th iteration or adaptation of it, right? Where I feel like Last Round, like don't get me wrong, it's great. I still have to finish it, but it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, so we have the source material, right? That's great, the comic. We have that game coming out, and we need a movie version and an animated version, like.
Yeah, I know,
right? Or like same thing with like Batman and like what is it, Killing Joke?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like there's only so many times I could see that happen, right? Where I'm just like,
yeah.
Are you doing anything new? Are you doing anything interesting?
Well, they tried and it was terrible.
Oh.
What they tried.
I know.
But yeah, no, I get it, and that's what I'm a little concerned with this. But the choice of live action makes it even weirder. But we'll see. We'll see. It's exciting to have a Turtles movie again. I just feel like
will it? Because like the thing is with that, I just feel like once you do it, that's it. Like, that's it. Literally, that's it.
Maybe, unless it's a commercial success, then you can get something else going on. Who knows? But
really,
but you're right. That story's like an end game story. So yeah, I don't know. But all right, what else we got here? Dave Bautista will voice the villain in Avatar: The Last Airbender movie.
Animated movie.
Animated movie. Sorry, animated movie. Yes, sorry, animated. Well, obviously I said voice the villain, but maybe that meant CG. I'm sorry. Yes, he will voice in the animated Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, the villain of it. So that's cool. He wants to move away from acting so much. I know that too now. So he's like I think voice acting is kind of the next step for a lot of people that just want to get a paycheck, and he's fine. I mean, he's gonna be good with it. So
Well, I think,
I'm okay with that.
I don't think he's running for money. I think he said specifically he wanted to be more selective with roles. Like he
I
didn't
mean-
just want to. I thought he just said he didn't want to be like a stereotype anymore.
Yeah, you're right. And I didn't
I
mean
could
it
be
like
wrong.
he was collecting a paycheck. I just
No,
meant
no,
like,
I know.
yeah, I meant like he was more about acting sort of, but
Right.
not, that's what I was saying. So he's a voice actor now. More voice actors a lot less wear and tear on the body.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's that might be good for him. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see. I mean, I'm not sure what else he's done, at all voice roles. Maybe I'm missing something easy. I don't know.
I'm sure he's
but-
done some animated movie that like Sing or I don't know, some
Yeah.
bullshit like that. Oh, okay.
So, yeah, but I don't know. All right, I think is that it.
I mean, good
yeah,
for
that's
him.
it on
At
mine.
least he's not doing the hair product line The Rock is.
Yes, a terrible hair product line if you're bald.
Rock is like everywhere. Like it doesn't matter. He just pops up.
Merchandising. Merchandising. So,
Yeah, The Rock.
Yeah. Merchandising.
Yeah.
Like that thing behind me there, the can.
What the fuck is that?
This is the 316 beer from Austin.
Oh, Steve Austin.
Stone Cold.
See, you like that there.
I mean, that's the half of wrestling.
Yeah.
Merchandise.
It is merchandising. That's how they collect a paycheck, man. When they're done wrestling or retire, you always get
I
some
mean, and they get
additional income.
They get terrible contracts and work conditions, so they got to do something.
No, absolutely. But I think The Rock takes it to the extreme.
Oh,
Yeah,
the hair product for the Rock is just horrible. That is the worst
Perfect.
promotion I've ever seen him pick to do.
I think it's great.
If I
I
had
mean,
hair,
that
I'd
If I
people
had
talk
hair,
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
So, I
but-
mean, it's kind of smart, I guess.
No, I don't know. But all right, that's gonna wrap up the movie cast, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I think I got everything right. Did I miss? No, I didn't. We're good. That's gonna wrap up the episode, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, we are live on Twitch Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock. Also on YouTube. Subscribe if you're watching us on there, and on Twitch. So that way you get notified. Next week, I'm sure we'll have more impressions of the next X-Men episode. So stay tuned for that. Gamecast coming up next, so stay tuned for that as well. We'll see you over there. We're out.